National anthems are in the book. We're back here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center, the host venue for this doubleheader between Capilano University and Langara College. The women's game is in the books. We're just about to get underway with the men's. We'll get you the starting lineups in just a few moments' time, but we're proud to be joined by assistant coach for Langara, Claudio Bartolomeo. Thank you so much for joining us, Coach. And I hate to reopen old wounds, but it was a tough result for you guys last time out against Douglas. Have you told the guys to forget about it, or do you want it fresh in their mind so that type of incident doesn't happen again?
I think it was a little bit of both, right? It was just yesterday, so they talked about it a little bit. I think maybe we lacked concentration in the last 5 or 6 minutes to try and finish off the game.
What do you want to see, not only from your squad mentally, but tactically here today?
Tactically, what we want to do is have the ability to push up when we're in situations where there are free kicks, and also try and avoid those free kicks out wide like that.
What do you expect from the opposition, Capilano University? They're no pushover.
No, definitely they're no pushover. They're a hardworking team. They're a pretty fast team, and I guess on the individual level, they challenge for every ball.
Assistant coach Claudio Bartolomeo will send you back down to field level. Good luck to you and the lads today.
Thank you very much.
There you go, Claudio Bartolomeo in the books. We'll send him back down to field level alongside head coach Mark Rizzardo as we get you set for this men's matchup, the second of the doubleheaders here between Capilano University and Langara College. Let's start with the home squad. Langara starting in net, number 22, Blake Charlesworth. Your outfield players, number 3, was Asu Chavula. Number 17, Zayan Adlam. Number 14, Guilherme Jorge. Number 4, Connor Thompson. Number 18, Tekaru Kaku. Number 19, Taigo Shimada. Number 23, David Rodriguez Zagara. Number 8, Taku Ota. Number 11, Beckham Hatch. And number 9, Enrique Caleros, your starting 11 for the Langara College Falcons, led by head coach, of course, Mark Rizzardo. The opposition, Capilano University. In net, number 1, Brendan Lecce. Outfield, number 12, Julian Denham-Rolacek. Number 14, Luca Del Sasso. Number 20, Riley Marshall. Number 18, Adam Majure. Number 5, Alex Lopez. Number 7, Sebastian Sirotto. Number 10, Tommy Miller. Number 3, Luke Frith. Number 9, Jordan Zadikes. And number 17, Andrew Cerquera. And, of course, the head coach for Capilano University is Steve Miller. The result I alluded to with the assistant coach there, Claudio Bartolomeo, an unfortunate last gasp loss for the Langara Falcons. They were well in control of the result, a 1-0 result at the time against Douglas, but capitulated and conceded 2 late goals. It ended up falling 2-1, so that's probably still salt in the wound, but they'll want to put that behind them and put their best foot forward here against a very potent Capilano University. We are underway now. Capilano University playing from left to right on your stream. They're wearing their all white with a little bit of sky blue trim, and Langara in their classic kits, the jet black with the orange lettering, the white shoulder blocking, and white piping as well. They're playing from right to left on your stream here. As mentioned, the host venue, Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center, a beautiful venue, 24 degrees and partly cloudy, a little bit of wind around here as well, but a perfect setting for some collegiate level footy, let's say it. Langara trying to get something conjured up early here. The early result was a 2-0 Capilano University women's victory. That being said, though, it was closer than that scoreline would lead you to believe. A missed penalty from Langara certainly tainted the result for the Falcons, but they definitely put in a good effort. Lots of chances there for both squads, but it was Capilano who came away with a 2-0 victory. Capilano now in possession here. Early clutch and claim for Brandon Lecce in the true green kit there, ushering the troops forward. Meanwhile, his opposite number, Blake Charlesworth, has gone for the bright highlighter yellow. You won't miss him in a crowd, that's for certain. Ooh, stiff challenge there in the middle of the park by Sebastian Sirotto. He got muscled off the ball there, and Langara looking to break. The ball played just behind the defender, Chavula. He gets it back, though, does Chavula, thanks to Enrique Caleros, the number 9 for Langara. Here comes Chavula now. Chests it down into his path, looking for options. Doesn't have a ton. He's going to go for a dribble here. He splits the wickets. Chavula, left-footed, low, hard cross. It takes a clip off Luca Del Sasso in the center of the Capilano defense. Just enough steam taken off that one, and Brandon Lecce has a good clutch and claim, but some good industrious work there by Chavula, who took the space they gave him, and he split the two defenders and almost created something promising for his squad. Tommy Miller now for Capilano with the compression sleeve. The one black compression sleeve, and he's got the orange armband on the other. He made a nuisance of himself as he was up against, I believe it was Taigo Shimada, and it'll go out for a deep throw in the way of Capilano, right in front of the concession stand, who, yes, I did sample fantastic burgers. Get over there if you have a chance. Miller. Kept in the corner there by, I believe it's Shimada. He'll play it back. Now the number 23, Rodriguez Zagara. He's going for a dribble. He's got a head full of steam, and he shrugged off his man. He's got the overlapping run of Enrique Claros if he wants it. Claros puts on the brakes, and Zagara picks that up and switches play to Chavula. Chavula, great 1-2. Back for Chavula. Chavula has it, right-footed shot, and it's straight at the keeper. So unfortunate, as well as, I believe it was Guillermo Jorge and Chavula had worked a nice little interchange there, the 14 and 3 together. And Chavula hit it low and hard on the right foot, but it was right into the breadbasket of Brandon Lecce. Early doors, 4th minute in, and already a real chance for Langara here. They're looking to put the sore memory of that Douglas result firmly in the past. Good ball win there by Rodriguez Zagara. Shimada. Good chest down, good win. Langara looking very tidy on the ball, very slick, very quick, and very clean at the moment. Capilano have struggled to maintain any possession here in the opening 5 minutes. And we will have a first corner kick of the matchup, and it'll go the way of the home squad. Just trying to identify the player who will be over to take it. I want to say it might be Taku Ota. Taken short, Chavula. Cross to the top of the area. It's now clipped back in. That looked like a worked play there. Just the ball from, I want to say it was Kaku, was just clipped over with too much pace. It was actually Taku Ota as well on the corner, so my suspicion was correct. And Kaku now has the ball for a throw-in up his own half. The 18 on the far right touchline. And Enrique Claros dragged back from behind, the number 9 for Langara, and that'll be a free kick the way of the Falcons. Capilano haven't had the ball for more than 30 seconds at an extended period of time here, so well done to the Langara squad for at least maintaining possession. They've already had 2 chances, one real good one off the foot of Chavula. Ball in for Jorge. Back for Rodriguez Zagara. Kaku. Tried to poke it infield for Taku Ota, but it was just a little bit too far out of his reach. It got picked off by Alex Lopez. Here comes Capilano now. Cleared by Kaku. And here comes Chavula. He's found himself onside. He shrugged off his man. Chavula carries to his left foot, gets around his man in the penalty box, still going. Chavula cuts it back for Enrique Claros, and his effort. He looked like he was trying to pick out that top corner. It took a deflection. I want to say it was off Riley Marshall. Clever play from Chavula, though, who rinsed Majure. And himself probably could have had a rip on net. Excellent play from Chavula and Enrique Claros, who have definitely been the 2 to watch early in this one. Head coach Mark Rizzardo for the Falcons instructing Claros, his number 9, to get in the mixer, and you can see him. He's right in front of the keeper. Taku Ota now. Floated ball to the back post, headed clear by Lopez. As far to the right touchline, it'll be Rodriguez Zagara, the closest to it. 7 minutes in, and it's been all Langara so far. 2 really good chances to start. Long heave throw into the penalty box. Jorge's there. It bounces over 2 sets of players. Taku Ota flies in there to try and unsettle the numbers, but Brandon Lecce, the keeper for Capilano was right on top of things, and he picks it off the ground, and he'll hoof it forward and try and create something here for Capilano, who have been second best to most of the ball so far. Alex Lopez now loses a little bit of head tennis in the middle of the park. Rodriguez Zagara gets it, demands it back, and he receives it from Chavula. Zagara uses Chavula as a bit of a decoy, carries infield, rolls it into the path of Claros. Claros has Taku Ota, plays him onside. It was just too far wide for Ota, and it actually did take a deflection, so it will be another corner. But Langara buzzing at the moment, the triangle passing in full effect as we approach the 9th minute. Ota has Chavula short. Mark Rosardo, you can hear him on the field might instructing all his players to pretty much get inside the 6-yard box. They're packing it. It's headed straight up in the air. I believe it was Luca Del Sasso who got that one. Chavula gets past Majure again. Does Chavula. Great play. Oh, and he sided down the second time. The referee not going for that one. It did look like he just got pressed between two bodies, Chavula, but he did ever so well to try and slither through the two. Shimada putting up a very rigorous press in the middle of the park. It keeps Capilano honest, and it keeps them inside their own half. They now have a chance to play out through the left-hand portion. It's Riley Marshall. Julian Denham-Rolacek with the shaggy hair on the far right side. I beg your pardon. Rolacek more central. I believe it's actually Sakara with the shaggy hair on the far side. Beg your pardon. Chavula, pressed by Jordan Zadiks. Ota. Adlam. Enrique Claros. Make that Jorge. Lots of good movement going on right there from Langara, but Capilano are not man-marking, but they're playing fairly tight now after giving Langara a bit of space early in the first 8 minutes or so. Rodriguez Zagara, so good at acknowledging the space. He sees that he has all of Main Street to carry up, and he's going to go for it. Enrique Claros, make that Jorge, cuts it back, left foot, cross, rolls along the 6-yard box, cleared though. Clever play again from Rodriguez Zagara as he feathered it through for Jorge. He did the right play there, Jorge. He cut across the 6, but nobody was there to tap it home, or it would have been the easiest goal in the world. And you could say that Langara definitely deserved it. Chavula. It was hit on a frozen rope by the keeper, Charlesworth, but Chavula had to leap up in the air and take it off the lower midsection, but did well to corral it. Getting his first touch now is Connor Thompson, the number 4, bright orange boots for Langara. Tried to play it for Jorge. Comes off the head, though, of Majure, and it'll be a throw-in inside the Capilano half for Langara. Chavula will now have the throw-in. Rodriguez Zagara. Chavula so good at one-on-one situations. He's not the most muscly or brawny of guys, but he just finds a way to wriggle his way into spaces and slither around guys, and he uses his pace and just body movement to get around guys. Probably make a great receiver in American football as well, Chavula. He's been very busy between him, Jorge, Rodriguez Zagara, and Enrique Claros. The Langara front four have definitely been running the show so far. It's another corner kick. This time Chavula will cross the width of the park to take it for his squad. Be a left-footed in-swinger from Chavula. He's going to play it short, low and hard. Adlam clips it back. Rodriguez Zagara with a shot. Right-footed, and he put all his weight through it. He was trying to scoop it into that top portion of the left part of Brandon Lecce's net. He just had too much loft on it. He got far too underneath it, but he hit it with the right pace, and it was a clever little teed-up play by Adlam. I often worry when playing a low corner on the deck as opposed to just putting it into the mixer, but that one almost paid off. Good stuff from Langara, who all is missing so far is the finishing touches. Be a throw in for Capilano. Midway up the Langara half. Tommy Miller trying to create something. It's now opened up here. Right-footed shot by Sebastian Soroto is charged down. Luke Frith. And now a shot, my goodness. Just wide of the right post of Charlesworth. He was diving and looked like he had it covered, but it was hit with a ton of sting, and it looked like it was going to knuckle in that side meshing. Good effort there from Capilano. Their first real foray forward, but Charlesworth diving to his right looked like he had it under control. Good headed win there by Riley Marshall against Enrique Claros. The ball bounces right back to keeper Lecce. Adlam. Connor Thompson. Now Kaku. Good ball from Kaku there. Plays it for Jorge. Back for Claros. Almost a little bit too clever, though, for Claros, who had made a more pragmatic direct run in. Jorge chose the path less traveled, and unfortunately the ball didn't come off for him. Number 5 now. Alex Lopez, left touchline. He's looking to take on his man. I believe it's Kaku. Plays it back for Miller. Square ball for Majure. Good intertwine there by Majure. Chavula now on his bike to get back into position. Zadiks. And Zadiks tries to put in a cross. It'll be a corner kick. It comes off the defending midfielder, Rodriguez Zagara. First corner of the match for Capilano, and it'll be Tommy Miller, the number 10, to take it. It'll be a right-footed outswinger from the looks of things. Back post, it stood up, headed clear by, I believe, Shimada. Ooh, a shot that knuckled off the ground, caught Charlesworth, the keeper, a little bit flat-footed, and he did just enough to palm and punch the ball away as he was stumbling and falling to his feet. A little bit of organized chaos, but he gets away with it, does Charlesworth, and Langara will carry forward. We're still 0-0 here, 16 minutes. Langara probably the better of the two squads so far as chances created. Chavula, Jorge, Claros, Rodriguez Zagara, all in the mix. Good play there by Sebastian Soroto to try and get something for Tommy Miller, who's fighting a losing battle. It seems like he's always in and amongst 2 or 3 black shirts. This time he gets clipped from behind, and the men in white shirts will get the ball moving forward. Taken quickly, Zadiks. Diagonal run. Finds him by the far left corner flag. Plays it back a ways. For Cerquera. His intended pass is cut out. Lashed clear by Langara, but only as far as the central defender, Riley Marshall. Luca Del Sasso. More or less just tried to football play his way through things there. I'm not sure what he was going for. He tried to push the guy over. He got the call against him and then just kept pushing and thought maybe the referee would go for it. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. I like the industry, though, from Luca Del Sasso. Sometimes you just got to make things work for you, and he wasn't taking no for an answer there. Good run here by, I believe it's Claros. Step overs, cuts back to his left foot, still going Claros. Infield for Jorge, tried to work a 1-2 with Claros. Will they get it back? Jorge is fighting a real scrap in the middle of the park there, but unfortunately he was always nipping at the heels of Alex Lopez, and it'll be a free kick as Capilano have just settled ever so slightly after having to weather a bit of a storm early in this one. Langara not as crisp with their passing as they were in that first 12 minutes or so. It looks like the advantage has kind of evened itself out here as we approach the 19th minute. Well, there's a clearance that comes off Jorge, and Jorge shot out of a cannon, got to that cross very quickly. Luca Del Sasso, a bit of a sloppy touch inside his area for his Enrique Claros to chase the ball, and then he gets clipped. Luca Del Sasso. Thought it was a dash soft. There's no yellow card on the play, but it's a dangerous opportunity here for Langara. 20 yards out. Might be a little bit too close to hit it over the wall. Nonetheless, a good opportunity here for some set piece service for the men in black. Rodriguez, Zagara, Chavula, and Taku Ota all looking at this one. Now Ota will make some paces away, so it's going to be Rodriguez, Zagara, or Chavula smashing this one. Rodriguez, Zagara had a similar opportunity on a cutback pass, almost maybe 5 yards advanced from this kind of neck of the woods. It looks like it's going to be Rodriguez Zagara, but I have been fooled before. The number 23 sizes it up. Chavula steps over it. Rodriguez Zagara takes a hit. It smashes off two sets of legs, and Majure's taking no chances there. He'll just play it out into his own bench and clear the lines ever so slightly. It was a good effort there from Rodriguez Zagara, but he was hitting it through when I say some, a lot of legs. So he had his work cut out from there, and he would have to be pretty accurate or just smashed it as hard as he could and just hope for some pinballing, ricocheting effect. Jorge takes the ball off his back. Fantastic play. He puts a low, hard cross into the box. Claros couldn't get there. Rodriguez Zagara does just enough to win himself the ball back, albeit from a throw-in. We're now into the 21st minute, still 0-0. Jorge just trying to muscle his way in the area on the back of Luca Del Sasso, the two number 14s. Having a good old-fashioned tussle there. And the referee saw a little bit too much physicality there on the back from Jorge, and it's a foul, and Lecce will play forward. Woo! Bit of a submarine job there. I want to say it was against Shimada. Indeed it was. He just got cut down in his prime, for lack of a better term there, Shimada. He got wiped out from behind, and the referee was right there and says go for it, team in black. Chavula now thought about going for one of his trademark dribbles. Instead, he cuts back to his right foot. He's waiting for some options. He didn't have a ton there, and now Adlam will show up in the center of defense. Chavula, a bit of frustration from him. He found himself in a good little space there. He had come in from the wing, and he played it for Adlam, and they dropped off him, did Capilano University. They just let Chavula go, but Adlam hadn't picked out that they had left him go right on the edge of the 18, and the attack just got snuffed out. By the time they could try and find Chavula, Capilano University were well on top of it. Good win there by Kaku. Wins his headed duel with Soroto, and now Taku Ota will try and get something flowing for the Falcons. back and forth play that as neither Kaku nor Sirota can reel in the ball. And Sirota's been very robust in the challenge. He's not afraid to run into you at full speed, and he just did it to Kaku a couple times. And eventually the referee says, all right, I've seen enough of that, and he puts the whistle to lips, and Kaku gets his free kick right by the right corner flag, taken immediately, a frozen rope up to Claros. Good win there by Ota. Jorge had the overlapping run of Beckham Hatch, whose name I haven't called a ton here early in this first half. Most of the actions come up the left touch line with Chavula, but lest we forget, Hatch is taking up space in that right portion of the pitch. Tommy Miller now. Good take, good turn. Can he spread it? He can. Great pass by Miller. Finds Soroto. Overlapping run of Lopez. Instead, he's going to go back for Tommy Miller and Rodriguez Zagara. Just wanted to take a bit of the sting out of the play. He plays it back for Charlesworth, and Langara will go back to the drawing board for a couple seconds. Chavula now in a battle with Majure. Good play by Chavula as he wriggles away from two white shirts. Plays it infield for Claros. Claros just tried to tap it back into the path of Taku Ota. Might have been better to just receive it and play it up to himself. Throw in the way of Langara. Nonetheless, Capilano not able to string together some passes there to get themselves out of trouble. Miller. Probably been the busiest of the players for Capilano. He's done well to shrug off a couple black shirts at some times and try and play it to his fellow teammates. There's a clever ball. If Jorge can get there, he's going to get there. Jorge gets to the inside of his man, but just put it too far ahead of Luca Del Sasso, and he had Claros waiting centrally as well. It's been good running by Jorge so far in this first half. He's had some good crossing opportunities. He's just lacking a final shot or that final bit of finish. Good win there by Kaku in the center of defense. Great ball there from Claros. Finds Chavula onside. Chavula up against Majure. Cuts back to his right foot. Has a right-footed shot. It comes off the outside of his boot, does Chavula. And it screws out to the far left touchline of the Capilano wing. It'll be a throw-in. Clever play, though, and a good ball there from Claros as he picked out Chavula, who didn't have a ton of room for error. Majure was pretty tight on him. Now it'll be a foul on the far touchline. No, it won't. It'll instead be a throw-in for Capilano. It looked like, I believe it was Kaku, who had made a run forward, got clipped. He's still up there, Kaku. Cerquera. Good win by Kaku. He's been very tidy with his touches today as Kaku. He hasn't made a ton of errors. Connor Thompson looking for some options. Beg your pardon, that's Rodriguez Zagara. Now Adlam under pressure. Plays a long diagonal to the far right corner flag for Jorge to chase. He's got to get by Riley Marshall. He plays it back a ways for Beckham Hatch. Hatch infield for Claros. Back now for Chavula. Crosses his wires with Claros. Overlapping run. Oh, it wasn't an overlapping run. It was a through run of Rodriguez Zagara. Claros just put a bit too much weight on that pass. Had he just delicately rolled a 10-yarder into his path, that would have been a free smash in for Rodriguez Zagara, who arrived a bit late, and I don't think Claros saw him till the last second, and he kind of rushed his pass at that stage of the affair. Adlam loses a header against Zadiks. Kaku volleys it up the park to Beckham Hatch on the far right touchline. Hatch, step overs, gets to the inside of his man. Cerquera still going Hatch. Great run by Hatch. Can he feather it forward for Taku Ota? He tried to, but he didn't get the chance. He gets stepped on the Achilles from behind by Cerquera, and he looks to be in some kind of discomfort. I'm surprised a yellow card hasn't been brandished there because it looked like that was a fairly decent goal-scoring opportunity, and he crunched the guy from behind. Nonetheless, I'm not holding the cards. That's the referee's job. They just give me the microphone. That is a free kick, though, And Langara will definitely have a chance here. Gosh, 25 yards out. Probably a little better for them than the last one, which Rodriguez Zagara just tried to smash through the wall. This time he can put it up and over if he really feels like it. It's just a matter of execution. 29th minute approaching. And Langara definitely deserve a goal here. They've been the better of the two squads. Taku Ota and Chavula sizing things up as well. Looks like it might be Taku Ota. Taku Ota right-footed. It's going to be a cross. He was looking for Kaku at the back post. It was flicked out, I should say, by Luca Del Sasso. It'll be a corner from the near corner with Taku Ota over to take. It was an interesting approach, too, because he didn't give himself a lot of time to really serve it up, or I should say space to serve it up. He took a very short run-up, did Ota, and he literally just half-stepped and popped it over the top of that line of defense for Capilano. Is a little bit deceiving, especially for the broadcaster up here, and it almost paid dividends. He'll march his way over to the near corner flag to take this corner now as well. Ota lost it into the back post. Kaku was there. He would have been hard-pressed to put that in the back of the net. That was more or less destined for the behind the goal line, the end zone. But Kaku still threw his head at it anyways. Saw if he thought he could make something of it. Unfortunately, it just pops out into touch, and it'll be a goal kick for Brandon Lecce. Left-footed clearance by, goal kick I should say, by Lecce. Goes right to a set of Langara legs. And the coach throws his hands up in frustration. Steve Miller of Capilano. Looking for a long throw to catch Tommy Miller on the last line of defense with Connor Thompson. Who's side-footed out by Zion Adlam. Clever ball by Chavula. Adlam puts the left boot through it to Claros, who keeps it in and gets to the inside of Del Sasso. It's a good tackle, though. He just gets just enough of the ball. Otherwise, it was a 2-on-1 opportunity for Claros and Jorge. But Del Sasso, who I don't want to say has looked reckless, but he certainly fancies himself a battle, threw in the sliding tackle, and it was just what the doctor ordered there. Throw in, looking for Tommy Miller. Evades Zion Adlam, and Miller has it right by the corner flag. Can they create something? Miller in for Zadiks. Tried the return pass, and it will be a corner kick. It came off the defender. I believe it was Shimada. Header on by Luca Del Sasso at the back post. He was in a sea of black shirts as well. He did well to pick that out and get a head on it. Tried to just nod it back across the area to see if someone else could bash it home, but Langara were very tight with their defending and cleared their lines swiftly. Cap get the ball back inside their own half. Great win again by Kaku, who's been spot on to almost every aerial duel. Yes, he's maybe a foot taller than Sorodo, but his body positioning is excellent to begin with. Foul behind the play on Zadiks by Rodriguez Zagara. The referee will bring play back. It'll be a free kick for Capilano in the right channel, probably about 45 yards out. Tommy Miller, number 10, who himself has been very tidy and consistent and efficient in possession because he hasn't had a ton of it. Langara have been better on the ball. Cross into the area. It was hit with some kind of whip, and it dropped down just on top of the penalty dot. Well-weighted ball, just nobody there for Tommy Miller. Claros. Bodied off of it by Majure and Tommy Miller. Did just enough to keep him honest. Taku Ota now gets the ball. Thought about spraying a long diagonal wide cross. Instead plays it to Jorge. Back to Taku Ota. And they cross their wires ever so slightly. About 12 minutes to go here. I can't imagine a ton of stoppage time at the end of the half. We haven't had any real injuries or substitutions to speak of. It's been business as usual for the most part. Claros helps on for Taku Ota. It's cleared by Majure. Clever play from Claros, though. I think that's what the Capilano defense was expecting. I think maybe if Claros put the brakes on and tried to work a 1-2 up the other side, that might have flummoxed Capilano, but it is still the Langara ball deep inside the opposition half. Bit of a lazy throw into the penalty box. Jorge was there to meet it. He tried to return it for Chavula, but the headed pass was misplaced, and Capilano will get the ball back. Langara's passing have just let them down ever so slightly in the last 10 minutes or so because they found themselves in good positions, but their layoffs or their timing of their runs or the balls have just been hit slightly behind the advancing runner. They feel if they just snug that up a bit, Langara could have a real night to remember here at Willoughby Park at Langley, and that'll be a foul. Connor Thompson obstructs Tommy Miller. Bit of knee on knee there. It was a foul Connor Thompson kind of had to take, though, because if Tommy Miller skinned him there, he had tons of space and tons of acreage to run into, and it might have been real danger for Langara. So to bring down the man and go without a yellow card, I think Connor Thompson would take that foul all day, every day, and twice on Sundays, which is today. Today is a Sunday, so maybe he'll do it again. Tommy Miller will slowly make his way over to the right corner flag to grab the ball. Unfortunately, no one had reeled it in for him, but he'll more or less take the kick from where Rodriguez Zagara is standing right now in line with the referee. Some of the coaches' banter you don't get to hear on the field mics. Top shelf, top shelf. Can't repeat it on air, of course, but top shelf. Tommy Miller, right-footed swinging out cross to the back post. It's cleared again by guess who? Kaku. He's won just about every aerial clearance there is to be one, I should say. He nods it out into touch. It'll be a throw up the far left-hand side for, I believe it's Cerquera to take. This one could be dangerous, right in line with the 18-yard box. Lopez dispossessed, but Cerquera wins it back. Lopez, can he get it across? He clips it forward for Sorodo. Still going Sorodo, dispossessed by, I believe it's Taku Ota. Make that Shimada, who himself is dispossessed. And now a break for Langara. If they can keep it in play, they can't. Jorge just a toe's length away from it. Otherwise, that could have been serious, serious danger for Capilano, as it looked like it would have been at least 4-on-4. Lopez Good play there by Lopez to keep Shimada at bay and release a pass. Zadik's beaten to the ball by Adlam. Chavula now took a risk and pressed forward now, and he's put Adlam in a bad spot. Zadik's now on the carry for Lopez. Good drop by Chavula, though, who sensed the danger, and he backed up his man Adlam. Claros trying to shield off 1, 2 with his back to goal. Eventually outlets for Kaku. Stinging ball forward from Kaku, looking for Adlam, who's continued his run forward. He is a center back, folks, but he's going for the gold here. Chavula, forward for Adlam. Great layback for Chavula. Still going Chavula. He's got tons of space, Chavula. Plays it into the path of Claros. Claros, left-footed shot, and it's not in the net. The flag goes up. No, is it the flag? Or was it a foul? As the referee did see the infraction. I want to say it was Luca Del Sasso, who just put a toe in at the last second. Claros looked like he had all day to uncork one. And then Ota, who looked like he got the subsequent pieces, couldn't pop in the rebound. Chavula himself looked like he could have had a lash. Somehow, Capilano avoid conceding again. Great intertwining play, though. Chavula, Ota, Claros, Jorge, all in the middle of everything good for Langara. They just need to pull the trigger and get this ball in the back of the net. And while there was a bit of a delay there, the referee was coming over to have a bit of a stern word with, it was either the coach for Capilano, Steve Miller, or one of his assistant crew. Somebody had gotten a bit mouthy on the bench there, and the referee didn't like what he heard and had to come over and have a quick word. Rodriguez Zagar in path for Taku Ota. Heavy touch, Taku Ota! Great save there by Brandon Lecce, as he had to be very brave. Taku Ota's been sniffing along that last line of defense all night, and he just snuck in there. Put his first touch a little bit too far ahead of him, though, and he had to chase it. Brave keeping from Lecce, though, as Langara are knocking at the door, and it looks more or less just a matter of time. That being said, that's kind of the tale of their tape from their last loss against Douglas. They ran the show, and then in added minutes and stoppage time in the dying embers, they conceded 2. So you feel Langara, the longer this game goes on without scoring, they might have a little bit of doubt in their mind. So I'm sure one going into the halftime locker room wouldn't be too shabby. Luke Frith, good pass there. Sarkera. He's going to take on Beckham Hatch in for Soroto. Zadik's now. Zadik's tried to square it up for Tommy Miller. It was cut out, though, by Taku Ota. Throw in the way of Capilano. Another clearance. Another opportunity for Capilano to build themselves a bit of a campground in the Langara half. Ota, great touch, great turn. He's dragged back from behind his Ota, but the referee plays advantage. Rodriguez Zagar into the path of Claros. It's a fantastic pass by Rodriguez Zagar. Chavula is making up the background. Claros cuts to his left foot. Can he have a shot? Plays it centrally, and the tack just snuffs out ever so slightly. Chavula's won it back, though. Great play by Chavula to save that. As Claros looked like he got caught in a couple mines. He wanted to cut it back, then he wanted to shoot. He ended up dragging himself way wide and out of a scoring position. Chavula kept it alive. It's kind of been the story of Langara's night. They've done everything but put the ball in the back of the net. Throw in. Over the head, Rodriguez Zagara just managed the space so well. He has the overlapping run of Chavula. He's going to go himself, Rodriguez Zagara. Now he plays it in for Chavula. Chavula shot, palmed over, best chance of the match, Brandon Lecce. Rodriguez Zagara just waited for the perfect time to lay it off to Chavula. Chavula did the right thing, high and hard, but it was poked around. Excellent play, Rodriguez Zagara. Definitely the midfield maestro you want on your team. He does it from the defensive end and also just has a fantastic range of passing, whether it's a short 5-yarder on a dime or a long pinged one, a worm burner, what have you. Very impressed with the play of Rodriguez Zagara so far in this first half. Chavula as well, it has to be said. Taku Ota. These lads definitely deserve a goal here. Ota, right-footed in swinger to the top of the 6. Rodriguez Zagara calls off Chavula and then returns it. Chavula has it. Thought about a cross. Now he's going to carry it to the area. Chavula cuts it back for Hatch, who just misses the far side. It was Beckham Hatch, who did ever so well to open up his body and try and bend it low and hard into that far left-hand post, his right. Brendan Lecce was rooted to his line and just had to watch it flash across the goal line. Somehow still scoreless here in the 40th minute. Left-footed thump goal kick right up Main Street from Brandon Lecce. Headed straight up by Luca Del Sasso. Claros is the closest to it. Majure, without really looking, just blasted up the park because he sensed the danger from Claros. Jorge now. He loses his battle with Riley Marshall. Good pass forward for Jordan Zadiks. Jordan Zadiks tried to fly the width of the area and find, I believe it was Alex Lopez at the back post, but he was just bodied out by Kaku. Here comes Beckham Hatch. Tried to switch play. It was cut out, though, by Majure, who himself almost played a really tidy, about 20-yard ball on the deck for Tommy Miller, who had just gotten behind Shimada. Rodriguez Zagara into the path of Claros. He's in the left channel, approaching the area now. Claros. Still going Claros. Left-footed, right-footed, cuts back to his right-footed shot, and he pushed too much scoop on it. Almost an identical effort to what Benjamin Hatch, or I beg your pardon, Beckham Hatch, produced probably about 30 seconds ago. Just too much scoop on the low, hard shot. They're trying to pick out those corners when maybe just a rifled effort on net might do the job. Brandon Lecce, the keeper for Capilano, he won't mind, though. It doesn't go as against us a shot on goal, and he gets to take another goal kick. About 20 seconds left, and I can't imagine a ton of added time here. Adlam wins it into the path of Taku Ota. Claros. Rodriguez Zagara on his bike. He's going to get there. He's inside the penalty box. He's got Jorge. Rodriguez Zagara cuts back to his left. Is a shot palmed away. Just inside the 6-yard box was Rodriguez Zagara. Now here comes Chavula with a left-footed shot. That one's palmed away as well. My goodness. Between Chavula and Rodriguez Zagara, they are wearing the grip off their boots with some of the shots they've taken so far. They have definitely had the ball at their feet a ton, but they haven't managed to put the ball in the back of the net. It's been fantastic play from Langara, though. It has to be said. Capilano University playing a bit of rope-a-dope, but they're staying alive in this one. It's still 0-0. Shimada. Into the path of Jorge. Jorge has a head full of steam. Right-footed shot. Jorge kicked away. The rebound gets right back to him inside the penalty box. Now back into the path of Beckham Hatch. He's going to have a right-footed shot, is he? Left-footed! Just over the bar. He left Cerquera for dead on a sliding tackle, and he tried his look with the left peg, and he just scooped it over the bar. Once again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but all we've missed here is the finish from Langara, and there goes the halftime whistle. Capilano University are probably counting their lucky stars that they managed to get into the locker room scoreless here. 0-0. And I'm sure there will be some halftime substitutions for both squads. We'll get into the locker room. We'll have some orange slices, some Gatorade, and we'll come back for the second half of this Capilano University and Langara College doubleheader. Capilano University women taking care of business against Langara women earlier, 2-0. And we'll see what happens here in the men's result. As mentioned, 15 minutes. And we'll be back with the second half. 0-0 the score in the men's match between Capilano University and Langara College. Welcome back to Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center here in Langley, BC, the Valley of the Lower Mainland, as we kick off the second half of the second game of our doubleheader between the Langara College and Capilano University. The women's match in the books. Capilano taking that one over Langara 2-0. This one's still 0-0 here, but Langara the better of the two squads in that first half. We'll see if they can make it amount to a goal in this second half. As we're now kicked off, it doesn't look like there was any substitutions outside of one for Capilano. I believe they took off Jordan Zadik, the number 9. Now in is number 4, Dobra Saki. And of course, we'll keep you abreast as to all the changes when they become available. But Langara, Mark Rosardo, and club have gone for the status quo. Takaotu, right-footed shot! Takaota! And it's in the back of the net from Rodriguez Zagara! Takaota gets the initial shot. It was hit with too much sting. The keeper couldn't deal with it. And Rodriguez Zagara side foots it into the empty net. I mentioned it in the first half. He's been the straw stirring the Kool-Aid for the Falcons, and he gets the sugar there big time. Great goal there from Rodriguez Zagara. A great setup from Taku Ota, as well as Ayman Samudin, who, I beg your pardon, was a substitute for Langara in this second half. He came on. He was the man who teed up Taku Ota, who took that shot. So the one substitution paying dividends for Mark Rosardo's club. They definitely deserved a goal here, did the Langara Falcons. It does read 0-0 on the scoreboard, but the home side is up 1-0. Capilano will definitely want to try and get that back. Not a fantastic start to the half. As mentioned, they did spend a better part of that first half counterattacking and defending, and it is just rewards for Langara, but to come in such a fashion where it looked like the keeper had just done enough and unfortunately palmed the rebound right to Rodriguez Zagara. The Langara Falcons and their fans will be pleased as punch, though. They have a 1-0 lead to sink their teeth into. Connor Thompson. Claros for Chavula. Taku Ota on the run again. Can he get there this time? Luca Del Sasso, I beg your pardon, was first to it. Took it off his foot. Or it might have been more danger. Taku Ota alongside Rodriguez Zagara, Chavula, Claros, and Jorge have definitely been the busiest Falcons on the park. Saki tees up Lopez. Lopez has to try and get in between a bunch of black shirts. He'll lay it back for Miller. Ceroto. A rip that was charged down by Connor Thompson. And now Tommy Miller with a shot, and it's palmed over by Charlesworth. First real chance of the game for Capilano comes from their number 10. And he hasn't been tested a lot early, but Charlesworth springs into action with a key palm over the bar. It'll be a corner kick from the far right-hand side. As the wind has definitely picked up here in Langley. I'm sure you can see with some of the flags being flown. The township of Langley, the British Columbia, and the Canadian flag all in the north end, occupied by Charlesworth at the moment. It'll be Tommy Miller, right-footed outswinger on the corner. It'll be a yellow card as well for, I believe it's Dobra Saki. Somebody was beaking off inside the box there, and the referee had to pull him into the principal's office there, so there was a yellow card dealt. We'll see if that comes into play later on in the half here. Miller, right-footed outswinger. It's got hit with some pace. It's headed clear by Adlam. Only as far as Luke Frith plays it to the wing. That one's thumped back in by Miller. It's a header off the bar! It's actually off the post. What a great chance there. It was Riley Marshall who put the glancing header to it. And Charlesworth was bamboozled. All he could do was watch it bounce off his post and fly across the goal line. Somehow it stays 1-0. A great return of play by Capilano. It looked like they might get the boots put to them by Langara, but after that goal, they've come right back to life. We've got a game on our hands here, and another stern talking to for Steve Miller, the coach for Capilano University, for something that was said from his bench, whether it was from him or somebody on the assistant coach's bench. Another stern talking to from the referee, once again after a great chance. But here comes Langara up the other end. This is end-to-end stuff now. Rodriguez Zagara cuts back, right foot. Gets a bit of space for himself. Taku Ota, left-footed shot. That one he kind of didn't get all the mustard on it. Shimada has a rip now. That one flies off into the supporter section in the end zone, almost cleared off into the parking lot. That one was hit with some kind of venom by Shimada. Unfortunately, nowhere near the net. We look like we're in for a very entertaining second half here. If you're just joining us, despite a scoreless first half with plethora of chances, it's Rodriguez Zagara, the man who opens the scoring for Langara, who, for my money, has probably been tip to tail the best player on the park so far, maybe with Taku Ota. Headed on by Zagara. Samadine. One back there by Kaku, who probably on the defensive end of things has been the best player on the park. He's won just about every joust he's been in. Chavula tries to work a 1-2 with Taku Ota. He was just boxed out, though. Sliding challenge there from Luke Frith and Rodriguez Zagara. Just let him poke it out into touch, and it will be a throw-in in the 52nd minute. Taku to Samadine. Great layback by Samadine. Taku Ota, left-footed, cuts back to his right. He has a chance for a shot. He does, right at the keeper, straight at the keeper. It's unfortunate as well, as Samadine had made a great underlapping run that had Taku spotted it. Taku Ota could have slid it right into his path as the number 25 was barreling in there. And he looks like he's a handful to try and manage the number 25. Quite the brawny lad. 6'6". My goodness, I would not want to run into him in a dark alley. He'd definitely get the better of you there. Samadine playing a very rugged style of forward, and I got to say, I like it. I like it a lot. Great bit of play there from Cerquera. Tried to play it back for Alex Lopez. It's touched out, though, and Langara, who you feel if they could just get another marker here, it might be their day. They've looked pretty tidy in possession today, and outside of the one chance by Tommy Miller where he smashed a venomous hit from about 35 yards out, 25 maybe. Charlesworth, I guess I could take away the Riley Marshall header as well. There's been two real chances here. Langara look like if they just are on their best behavior, they can really try and make something of this. Great play there. Samadine to Taku Ota, who plays a diagonal into the path of Chavula. Chavula into the penalty box, skips around his man. Chavula still going. Nobody there for a tap, and Taku Ota was the late man on the scene, and he just couldn't get ahead of the defender. Chavula did ever so well to just tip-tap his way into the penalty box, but he just couldn't pick out a man. Jorge now, left-footed cross, stinger into the box. Samadine can't get there ahead of Luca Del Sasso, who himself now has his hands full with the likes of Eamon Samadine, the 6'6" striker from Ghana. My goodness, 6'6". Clip ball over the top for Sorodu. Kaku trying to keep him at bay. Sorodu does well to keep it alive, though, as it looked like Kaku might get the best of him. Right-footed shot. Always kind of driving away from net. Charlesworth threw himself down at it, but didn't have to put a touch to it as it just hopped out past his left-hand post. We're into the 54th minute, approaching 55th. It's still 1-0 off the strength of a Rodriguez Zagara goal for Langara. Goal kick from Charlesworth. Claros just pushed out of possession there. Chavula almost wins the ball back off Majure, and they've had a healthy duel all day today. Headed back up the middle of the park by Connor Thompson. Well taken care of by Taku Ota. I know I've given a lot of props to Rodriguez Zagara, but Taku Ota has been just as good, if not better, as Rodriguez Zagara. Jorge tried to cut inside on Cerquera. He's going to win the ball back as Jorge. That was a thankless task, but he's done it just outside the penalty box. No, he's won a corner. Bravo. Good job there by Jorge, who looked like he was just going to get bullied there by Cerquera and Riley Marshall. But he's won a corner kick, and in the process, eating a little bit of time off the clock as well for his squad. Rodriguez Zagara will come over to take it from the left-hand side, right in front of the concession stand. Be a right-footed in-swinger, and obviously we know Rodriguez Zagara can smash one in when he wants to. He's floated this one to the back stick. Nobody there. Kaku's going to keep it alive, though, to Chavula. Can he put in a cross? He does. Left-footed to the back post. Nodded back across the area for Samadine. Oh, he didn't have enough time. He tried to take it down on his knee and then poke it in as it was coming down, but it allowed Luca Del Sasso in the number 14 in the center of defense for Capilano just to put a touch on it and take some of the sting out of the shot. Great play by Samadine since coming in. He's really looked a handful. Referee was going to play advantage there as Kaku got wiped out by Soroto. Instead, he'll blow his whistle and play will come back probably about 20, 30 yards. Chavula, touch inside, tries to shrug off Majure. He does, still going Chavula. Chavula into the left channel. He's going to size up for a left-footed shot. Low and hard, but just not enough placement to really bother the keeper, Brandon Lecce. Good play by Chavula, though, who's had a few sniffs around net. Probably the first 5 minutes or so were his brightest. He was buzzing about and actually created 2 chances in the opening 10 minutes or so. It's been very good, Chavula. He hasn't stopped running today. Chavula and Samadine try and work a 1-2. Samadine controls it. Back for Chavula. Cross into the box, back post. Jorge nods it down into the path of Rodriguez Zagara. He returns the favor for Jorge, who cuts back to the inside of Cerquera. Now for Adlam. Claros takes turns, right-footed shot, blocked. Chavula can't get to the rebound. Kaku wins the header down and keeps possession. Well done by Kaku. Jorge, ball into the area. Samadine almost on the goal line. Goes for a bike kick-ish type attempt. Falling back, it would have been a tough ask, and it would have been an incredible goal had it actually gone in the net. But good job there by Samadine to just try and contort his body to get something on that, which he did. Unfortunately, it wasn't in the direction of the net behind him. Good effort, though, from the Ghanaian, though. 1-0 still as we approach the hour mark of this second of our double headers here between Capilano and Langara. The women of Capilano taking care of the Langara women 2-0 in the early affair. Rodriguez Zagara now. Carrying, left-footed. Is he going to go for a rip? I thought he might. Now he's going to go for one. It's a left-footed lash that, very similar to Chavula moments ago, hit with some kind of pace, but unfortunately directly right at the keeper. Good play, though, by Rodriguez Zagara, who looks like he has just about everything in his locker here. Lopez. Great pass there by Soroto. Majure! It goes into the back of the net. Was it an own goal? Did he put a touch on it, or is it Soroto's? Either way, Capilano University get perhaps against the run of play their goal. It's 1-1 here in the 60th minute. Unfortunate from Langara, who have just about done it all tonight. They just need the finishing touches, and the last thing you want following that Douglas result is a little bit of doubt to creep into the minds. It's 1-1 now. Soroto or Majure or own goal, one of the three, will stake their claim to that one. Very unfortunate for Langara, too, because outside of the headed chance by Riley Marshall and the long-range shot from Tommy Miller, Kaku, Thompson, and their mates definitely looked like they had the situation well in hand up until that, and sometimes that's all it takes is an unfortuitous bounce, and it wrong-footed the keeper, Charlesworth, as well, so it was just one of those scenarios that don't know how much Langara could have truly done about that. Claros. Samadine, right-footed shot, always rising. Goes over the net and into the supporters section, probably about 10 yards over. Good effort from Samadine, though. I like what he's brought into the table since coming on here. Chavula trying to get to the inside of Majure. The wind picking up here, as I'm sure you can hear on our field mics. The broadcaster having a tough time corralling his papers, but Soroto. Dobrasaki asking for a give and go, but Capilano now growing in confidence. They're all of a sudden pushing the ball around quite nicely. Clip ball over the top from Tommy Miller. The header left short by Adlam. Soroto leaves it for Cerquera. Can they put it back in? Cerquera, ball to the back post. Nodded back across. Soroto just can't get there. Excellent spell of play there from Capilano, and now all of a sudden Langara are forced to defend a bit. Ball played forward for Samadine. That's cut out by Luca Del Sasso. Ping diagonal left-footed ball from Tommy Miller. Finds Soroto just onside. Overlapping run of Alex Lopez. Right-footed shot charged down by Kaku. Good job there by Chavula to roll his man. And now Majure has to bust along to get back. Chavula has lots of characters to beat, though. He's got 3 or 4 white shirts. He's got past 2. Chavula still going. Chavula into the path of Claros for Jorge, and it's going to be a tap-in for Samadine. Oh, but the offside flag goes up. The offside flag goes up. I'm not sure if it was on Jorge or Samadine. Definitely wasn't on Claros, and it definitely wasn't on Chavula. It's unfortunate, though, for Langara. Precision passing, a tap-in for Samadine. Unfortunately, the flag goes up offside. The score remains 1-1. Just a bit of a warning side for Capilano as well, who themselves were growing into the match, but Langara still very much up for this fight, as they'll be desperate to bring home 3 points after the result against Douglas yesterday. Ball helped on there. Claros almost managed to reel it in and chase it down, but the keeper, Lecce, was right on top of things. Frith. Back for Tommy Miller. Lopez now, right-footed shot, and it's a cannon. It had Charlesworth scrambling, but it just was always scooping and twisting away from the near far right post, I should say, of Charlesworth. Julian Denim-Rolicek asking for a bit of a shirt grab there on Samadine, who did have a handful of the front of her shirt as he was kind of pressing him back, but eventually he let it go, and Denim-Rolicek actually mustered up a good little tackle to poke the ball away. Chavula now, it's a throw-in for Rodriguez-Zagara. Back for Chavula. Chavula cuts it back to his left foot. He's going to put it across. He's going to cut it back to his right. He's inside the penalty box now, Chavula, for Samadine. Samadine, right-footed shot. That one's blocked and charged down by, I believe it was Frith, and it'll be another corner kick from the near right-hand side. But Samadine is looking a right handful for the Capilano defenders here. 25 minutes left to go here. Hit right to the heart of the area. Adlam was actually the closest to it, but he got picked off by, I believe it was Cerquera. Tommy Miller, great ball forward. Can he find Lopez? He does, but clever interception by Connor Thompson, who realized that it was going to take something special for Lopez to pop it around the other side of him, so he just made himself big. Dispossesses, and now we have a counterattack up the other way. This is end-to-end stuff. Raking cross into the area. Luca Del Sasso puts a touch on it. It loops straight up into the air and into the waiting arms of Brandon Lecce. Fortuitous, to say the least, but Luca Del Sasso won't care how it gets to his keeper as long as it doesn't end up in the back of the net. Great headed win down by Kaku again. Jorge into the path of Samadine, takes, turns, tries to turn on himself again. It looked like he was clipped from behind or stepped on. There was a couple protests there, but the referee was Johnny on the spot and thought better of pointing to the spot. Langara looked like they still have some life inside them, and I would not fancy having to be anybody who has to try and marshal Samadine inside the penalty box. He looks like he is just a big burly man that looks like he's going to have his way with you. So far, kudos to the Capilano University defenders because they have done well. They have done very well under some stiff competition of Samadine. Adlam, right-footed shot! Palmed away, Samadine's offside. He sclaffs his effort nonetheless. Good stinger there from the center defense. Adlam testing the mitts of the keeper, Lecce. And unfortunately for Samadine, he was quite a bit offside, but wasn't able to redirect his effort onto net regardless. Be a goal kick here. Adlam wins the header, flies over the head of Rodriguez-Zagara. If you're just joining us, the opening goal scored at the beginning of the second half by Rodriguez-Zagara before Capilano equalized on a bit of a fortuitous play. It was a through ball from Soroto, which either took a deflection off a Langara player or came off Majure. Either way, it wrong-footed the goalkeeper and rolled harmlessly into an empty net. Wasn't a pretty goal by any stretch of the imagination, but they all look the same on the score sheet, which leads us to 1-1 now. But Langara's been mostly in the ascendancy ever since that marker. Adlam now into the path of Chavula. Chavula still going. Finds the path of Samadine. Left-footed shot. It's blocked by Riley Marshall. Samadine's been good about pulling the trigger early. He hasn't taken a lot of time to dwell on the ball before shooting it, but whether it's been Riley Marshall or Luca Del Sasso, they've been very quick on getting in blocks on the tall Ghanaian forward. Taku Ota, right-footed outswinger. Make that an in-swinger, I beg your pardon. Right into the heart of the box. Almost a free header for Kaku. Almost a free header for Adlam. Comes off a hand of Claros, I believe. 20 minutes to go here, plus stoppage time. And as mentioned, we will be joined by Mark Rizzardo post-game here, up in the booth. Adlam wins the battle against Dobrasaki. Saki gets it forward for Lopez, though. Now Soroto, through ball, looking for Majure. Majure, can he get to the inside of Connor Thompson? He can't. It will be a deep throw-in, though. And I think we're going to have a substitution here now. As indeed we will. Looks like Claros will come off. And coming on will be Beckham Hatch. And then also coming back into the game will be Jordan Zadiks, and he will replace Dobrasaki. Be a deep throw in for Soroto here as we're just waiting to get back underway in the almost 72nd minute. Tommy Miller for Soroto. Soroto, right-footed shot, comes off the backside of Connor Thompson. It'll be a corner kick for Cap. Tommy Miller. It's a good cross. It's a flying header from Luca Del Sasso, who threw himself in there like a torpedo. Don't want to say it was reckless, but it was certainly courageous and it was certainly brave. Samadine dispossessed now. This could be dangerous. Right-footed cross, just hit off the outside of the boot. I want to say that was possibly Majure. And he puts his head down, makes his way back to his left back position. Just unfortunately just couldn't wrap his boot around that one, and it didn't trouble Charlesworth in the 72nd minute. Majure now right back on the ball. Despite spending the better part of the first half trying to keep Chavula under wraps, he's been very bright and very vibrant here as Majure in the second half, contributing to the equalizing goal. Samadine for Takuota. He's got Kaku. Kaku has a bit of license to carry forward now. He's going to play it into the channel for Beckham Hatch, the substitute. Into the penalty box now, Hatch. Can he create something? Tees it up for Rodriguez Zagara. Has a shot. Probably could have taken it first time, but that one little touch he took for himself just allowed Jordan Zadiks to pop in and put in a block. Good play, though, by Kaku and Zagara, Rodriguez Zagara. Here comes Beckham Hatch looking for Taku Ota. Adlam hollering for the ball at the back post. Kaku. Taku Ota tries to roll it into the path of Samadine. He then tried to use the underlap of Chavula. Rodriguez Zagara. Is he going to go for a shot? He's just going to carry into the Eagles. Rodriguez Zagara into the penalty box just outside the 6, to the top of the box. Samadine is there. Lays it off for Jorge. Bit of a heavy touch for Jorge. He's going to carry it to the byline. Low hard cross dealt with by Brandon Lecce. So much promising play there. It looked like Rodriguez Zagara had a goal with his name on it, possibly his second of the game. But somehow, once again, it just doesn't end up in the back of the net. It's kind of been the tale of Langara's day. They've had so much promising play and so much time spent in the 18-yard box, but unfortunately for them, they've just struggled to put the finishing touches on a lot of their really good chances. And unfortunately for Langara, now Rodriguez Zagara has just pulled up with a bit of an issue, and it looks like he might have to make way as Luca Raimundo Jeremia, I beg your pardon, has just made his way onto the park. The number 10. It looks like Rodriguez Zagara might be the end of his night. 16 minutes early, he's rubbing the upper quad just above the knee. Hopefully nothing serious, because he's, for my money, probably been the best player on the park outside of maybe Taku Ota. And it's big shoes to fill for number 10, Raimundo Jeremia. But he does have that Brazilian blood, as I'm sure you can tell from the exotic sounding name, so we'll see if he can use that pedigree and put on some Brazilian footwork here. Chavula tries to wriggle in between two sets of players there. Can't get there. Majure gets the better of him this time. Tommy Miller now with Kaku all over him. Miller just manages to win a foul with Kaku pretty much riding him to his own goal. Capilano get a chance to take a bit of sting out of this one. We've got 15 minutes plus change to go here. The wind picking up just ever so slightly as well, blowing towards the Langara net. So any floated balls from the Capilano end of things will have a little bit extra lift and a little bit extra carry now with the wind behind them. Kaku wins the ball back. Didn't have a ton of options moving forward. Capilano actually did very well to kind of cluster up and make it hard on them. Beckham Hatch trying to get to the outside of his man. Looks like he shouldered off his man. Number 12. Denim Rolacek. It was a bit robust, but the referee said it looked like he had gotten the better of Beckham Hatch anyways. Raimundo Jeremiah plays it into Taku Ota. Just got bodied off of it by Jordan Zadiks. Clip ball over the top. Connor Thompson first to it. Gets past Soroto, and a tidy one in for Jeremiah. Good play there by Connor Thompson, who looked like he was in some trouble. And Chavula, after having gotten the better of most players on one-on-one situations, has kind of faltered in the last 3 or 4 duels he's had, and he's forced his midfielders into some late-ditch tackles just to spare his blushes so he didn't have to come running all the way back. So Chavula in these late stages will really have to watch his runs and how he's timing them and the type of space he's leaving behind him. Tommy Miller now. Tried to work a 1-2 with Soroto. That'll be a throw in the way of Capilano. Connor Thompson and Tommy Miller. Some instruction there from Mark Rizzardo to his forward, Eamon Samadine, just getting a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish. Mark Rizzardo asked him to slide across to the other portion of the field to provide some options as he's just running out of a bit of gas there. Denim Rolacek. Dispossessed. Jeremiah does well to try and keep him at bay, but just too many white shirts. Good job there by Jeremiah to press the issue, though. Good win there by Connor Thompson. He places it well right into the path of Taku Ota. Ota, overlapping run of Jorge in the penalty box now. Jorge on the carry, puts in a shot, come cross, it comes off the goal line. My goodness, it will be a deep throw, and that looked like that was earmarked to hit the back of the twine. Good play there by Jorge, and even better weighted ball by Taku Ota. Once again, though, story of the night, Langara just missing the finishing touches, and Mark Rizzardo looks like he's going to go to his bench here for some more options. Looks like McKelvey Haruto will be coming on. Ball hit with some kind of M to the back post, nutted across by Jorge. Samadine was the closest, couldn't reel it in. Taku Ota now, right-footed shot. Taku Ota takes the deflection, came off Cerquera, and offside for Chavula. And the team in white will get the ball back now. And now Chavula will finally get a break. He's been very busy this game. The number 3 and number 12, McKelvey Haruto, now into the fold. That one came out, unfortunately, on Kaku, so it'll be brought back pretty much right into front of the Capilano bench. Good bit of territory here for Cap University with 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go here. And as mentioned, in the postgame, we will be joined by Mark Rosardo. Just looking down at the Langara bench, Rodriguez Zagara still in his strip. It doesn't look like he's peeled off any boots or put on any ice packs or anything, so maybe he's just taking a bit of a breather, and we might get to see the Maestro come back in for the last few minutes to see if he can peel apart this Capilano University defense. He's been very good today, Rodriguez Zagara, definitely deserving of his goal that he got. I'm sure he wants a little bit more, as it's only going to equal to a point as it stands here. And I'm sure Langara had their eye on 3 points after dropping that result against Douglas. That'll be headed away. It looks like it will be a corner kick. Adlam tried to save it at the very end. And they're just leaving Taku Ota as the last man up. So he'll have his hands full. Loaded the back of the box, and Langara's gone kind of short heavy. They do win the ball back. Beckham Hatch is the first to it. Haruto chasing now Jordan Zadiks. Forces him all the way back to center defenseman, Denim Rolicek. Side-footed up the park by Adlam. Only as far as Riley Marshall. He'll lift a ball to the right touchline for Tommy Miller. Sliding tackle there from Adlam. And they're both down in a heap now. Cerquera carries to the goal line, tries to get it across. It comes off the backside of, I believe, Shimada. And it'll be a deep throw in. 7 minutes to go plus stoppage. Tommy Miller tried to keep that ball in play to hook one back into the penalty box for a teammate to attack, but Adlam had already dispossessed him. It's a goal kick for Charlesworth. 7 minutes plus stoppage to go here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. Samadine trying to get the ball away from his man. He got a handful of shirt, though. And that'll be a free kick for Capilano along the far right touchline. It looks like Mark Rosardo might have a couple players up off the bench getting ready to go. We'll see if there's any substitutes here in the next couple minutes. Jorge up the left channel for Samadine. This looks kind of promising. He's got the overlapping run of Jorge again did Samadine, but Riley Marshall did ever so well just to disrupt Samadine and block out that potential counterattack. Good play there by Adlam. He's pushed over from behind. That'll be a free kick, if not a goal kick for the team in black. 6 minutes to go here. And we will have a substitution. Looks like Mark Rosardo will throw one more kick at the can here. And it looks like it will be Samadine coming off. Coming back on, Enrique Claros. Long floated clearance Goal kick, I should say, by Charlesworth. Actually, a free kick. Time ticking down here on Langara to go ahead and put their clutch on 3 points. Hatch cuts back to his right foot, still going. Beckham Hatch. Still going Beckham Hatch. Clever feet by Beckham Hatch. Needs some help here. And he wins the free kick and then gets stepped on afterwards. It's going to be a free kick. No yellow card, though. Luca Del Sasso accidentally kind of just hurdled him afterwards. It was a bit of a bang-bang play. Nothing malicious there, but a dangerous, dangerous set piece for Capilano, the men in white, to have to defend late here. 4 minutes plus change. Taku Ota and Shimada make that Kaku in the mix as well. Right-footed in-swinger from Taku Ota. Hit to the near post, cleared first time by Luca Del Sasso. Unfortunate there from Taku Ota, who normally gets it spot on. Hatch. Flicked up in the air. Almost broke for Adlam. Now Haruto's forced to bust along back and get the better of Majure. He bundles over his man. It was a shoulder-to-shoulder tackle, but ever so slightly from behind, and Majure does well. I don't know if that's a yellow card, but he's given him a yellow card. So Haruto, I beg your pardon, in the books. Majure, who alongside Chavula has done a good bit of running today, and he just keeps going. Majure, of course, influential in that equalizing goal. And this will be a real test for Langara. They did concede off some free kicks late in yesterday's affair against Douglas. Could this be their Achilles heel again? Another substitution for Capilano as Majure's coming off, and Dobrasaki, the tall number 4, 6'4", coming into the park. Tommy Miller, the number 10. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Right onto the penalty dot. A lash from Soroto. Body's hitting the floor, and Langara clears the lines. I believe it was Shimada who got pulled down there. 2 minutes plus stoppage to go here. And Langara know the priority here. They know that time is of the essence. Adlam knees it down for Claros. Dispossessed, though, by Claros is Denim Rolacek. Claros tried to feather it in for Jorge, who wins it back. Great win by Jorge. Overlapping run. Adlam. Hatch. Can he shoot, Hatch? He tried to dribble it too close to the net. He either need to lay it off for Adlam or blast that first time. He just tried to get too cute there, did Hatch. And time is winding down, 1.5 minutes. It'll be Jorge, number 14, over to take. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Everybody in the box with the exception of Connor Thompson and the number 19, Shimada. Floated to the back post. Adlam's the closest there. Dobrasaki, I beg your pardon, clears it, only as far as offside there as Taku Ota left it for Jorge. He was just coming back from an offside position, though, and didn't check his line. And it's unfortunate as Langara had remained bunkered in there. They still had bodies in the box. Connor Thompson wins that one. Shimada flicks it up the park. Jeremiah tried to square it up, but unfortunately he's played it right into the path of Cerquera. Cerquera's going to go for a bit of a run here. Tried to play it back into the path of Dobrasaki. But Jeremiah, who was trying to atone for his earlier dispossession, popped back in and won it. Hatch for Haruto. Haruto all the way back, and that'll be a foul. Referee says advantage. Haruto will get right back up. Good win there by Hatch. Hatch has a chance to square it. Taku Ota drags back his man Zadiks. We're in the 90th minute. And Capilano will probably just want to see this one out. A 1-1 draw in their back pocket. They haven't been played off the park by any stretch of the imagination, but they certainly have been outchanced and outpossessed by the home squad, Langara. But the one stat that counts is that goal column, and Rodriguez Zagara opened the scoring before the equalizer from Capilano. And that'll definitely be one of the talking points for Mark Rizzardo and his club as we welcome him in for the postgame. Luca Del Sasso launches it up the middle of the park. It's won back by Jorge, who loses his footing. Still wins the tackle, though. Shrugs off Dobrasaki. Keeps it alive now for Claros. Claros, heavy touch into the path of Jorge. Now for Jeremiah. Went for a bit of a roulette there, Jeremiah. All hands all over the defender, though, and that will be a foul against Langara. Mark Rizzardo screaming instructions furiously from his bench. He knows time is of the essence, and he wants his players to move as quick as possible. They don't got a ton of time to work with here, and the way Capilano are setting up, they're ready to bunker, so they might have to be very quick with their movements here, Langara. Here comes Dobrisaka. Tommy Miller now trying to get to the outside of Connor Thompson. That's been a great duel to watch between Chavula and Majure, and Thompson and Miller. There's been lots of one-on-one battles for the watchers and listeners to sink their teeth into here in the Capilano-Langara doubleheader. Still going here. Cerquera wins a nice header up the park for Tommy Miller. He's going to try and roll Connor Thompson. He's got some help from Adlam, though, does Thompson. And Tommy Miller just forced to play it out into the corner flag. It will be a throw-in halfway up their own half. Connor Thompson and the Falcons. Adlam, he's going to hump it forward. Hatch, great chest down by Hatch. Takes turns. He's got Claros. He's going to take on Luca Del Sasso. Here comes Hatch. Spreads it wide and square for Haruto. Haruto, can he put in a cross? He does. He leaves it a bit too short, though. It's Need back outside the area. It'll be a throw-in. Perhaps the last kick of the can here for the Langara Falcons. Hatch. Oh, he skips past one, does Hatch. Two, Haruto. That cross was left short. Again, Mark Rizzardo, the coach, wanting a little bit more there. Another long throw from Haruto. This time one down by Adlam. He dwelt on the ball just a bit too long. It rolls through the legs of Shimada. And that will be the full-time whistle. One apiece. Capilano University come to town, and they do get a point against Mark Rizzardo and the Langara Falcons. Rodriguez Zagara opened the scoring early in the second half before the equalizer. Either Majure or Soroto, or possibly an own goal. Still waiting for confirmation on that one. It was a scramble in a sea of legs. Langara put the press on. They had quite a few opportunities. They had one called back on an offside, a tap-in for Samadine. But unfortunately for the Falcons, they're not able to reel in 3 points following that disappointing loss to Douglas College. As it stands, the doubleheader, Capilano University win the first one, the women's affair 2-0, and the second game ends in a 1-1 draw. We will be welcoming in Mark Rizzardo up to the broadcast booth for a quick post-match interview. Get his thoughts on the result and what he thinks it might take to just take results like this over the top for the Falcons. Because as mentioned, if you're looking at the stat sheet, possession, chances created, passes complete, I think Langara are probably better in most categories, but as I've mentioned, the one that counts the most is that score line, and 1-1 only earns them a draw. Mark Rosardo going out into the middle of the field now just to give out some handshakes and thank the referees as well as the opposing coach, and then we'll welcome him up into the broadcast booth here at Willoughby Field at the Langley Event Center. And as I mentioned in our first broadcast, it's a long haul up to the broadcast booth, so we'll see if Mark's legs can handle it. I'm sure that his players are absolutely tired for the efforts they've spent out there on the field. We'll see if Mark Rosardo can handle a hike up to the broadcast booth. He looks a bit dejected. He was certainly urging the players on and late in that one. He felt there was more juice to get out of the lemon, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be here today at the Langley Event Center. But a fantastic day for some soccer, a fantastic venue for some soccer. I haven't been out to this stadium since they've repurposed it for the CPL team, Vancouver FC, but of course we called some of the college nationals last season here, of course, featuring Langara and a plethora of teams from across the country. I believe it was Humber College who ended up taking home the result, but back then it was just a turf field with some select bleachers, but now it's a full-blown professional-looking stadium with sections, concession. It really looks the part, and it's a beautiful little hub for sport out here in Langley with the tennis courts in the background, the basketball courts, multiple soccer turf courts for varying levels of men's sport, youth sport, and of course, professional sport. Mark Rosardo will just be making his way up to the broadcast booth here shortly, but back onto my pro stadium rant. If you're ever in the vicinity of 200th and Langley, whether it's for the CPL club or even if you're coming out to see the Vancouver Bandits, the basketball team, or the Vancouver Giants, the WHL hockey team, just a great little atmosphere for sports in the Valley. And of course, just outside of Abbotsford, which is picking up steam in the soccer world, Surrey's always been a juggernaut in the mix. So much going on here for local sport, not just collegiate, but youth and adult as well. 1-1 the final between Langara College and Capilano University. I wish I had a stat sheet in front of me because me talking about it doesn't really do it justice, but Langara controlled the majority of this affair, but similar to their Douglas result, which is probably one of the first questions I'm going to ask Mark Rosardo, and hopefully he doesn't bite my head off. His overall thoughts on just the response from the Douglas result. Is it what he saw? I mean, result aside, I'm sure he would have wanted a 5-0 battering, 6 points, whatever you want to say, but from the unintangible stuff, the stuff that he can control, did he feel that it was a positive result against Capilano University here today? The lone goal scorer was, of course, David Rodriguez Zagara, who played a fantastic game before, unfortunately, having to be subbed out with about 10 minutes to go, which may have not helped Langara's causes because Rodriguez Zagara was definitely one of the more creative players on the park today for Langara. We now welcome in the head coach, Mark Rosardo. We'll get him to pop on the headset. Mr. Rosardo, thank you so much for joining us here in the post-game show, and I just wanted to get your overall thoughts on the result here today. Maybe not so much the result, but the response following the Douglas game.
Yeah, I mean, the Douglas game, disappointing for everybody, the way it ended. But, you know, I thought the boys played well. Did most of the things we've been trying combination play around the 18. We had lots of chances. Unfortunately, their keeper played well. We made him look good. And those are the things I guess we'll be working on this week. I
was just going to ask you that, Marcus. I was kind of tooting it throughout the broadcast, is that you guys had a plethora of chances and controlled a good portion of the game. And unfortunately, the one thing that let you down was, unfortunately, you did have one called back on an offside, but you just weren't able to put the ball in the net, I'm sure, as many times as you would have wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we've just got to learn as a team that once we get up 1-0 on a team, we just got to, you know, get the second and the third one to close it out. We just got to do a better job of that. And I'm hoping that will start next weekend in Nanaimo.
Overall thoughts on the defensive effort today, Mark, because I thought it was pretty decent, and outside of, I don't even know how to describe that goal. It was a pass that took a deflection, it caught your keeper out, your defense was kind of marking the guy that was the late run. It wasn't truly like a calamitous goal or anything, but it was kind of a deflating goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can see it coming. The kid made a run from Cap. Wiz was gassed. He's played a lot this summer, and he's just couldn't make it back, and the boys had a should have covered it, and they didn't. And yeah, it was a lucky goal. I'd say it's a lucky goal. But
Head coach Mark Rosardo of the Langara Falcons following a 1-1 draw with Capilano University. Final one for me, Mark, just before we let you go. What do you what's the message to the lads when you get back into the locker room? What do you want to see moving forward here now?
I think it's not much different. We just have to play more. Just have better finishing. Like, we just have to be more focused on it when they're taking the shots, make it away from the keeper. The goals that we've given up this weekend, we've given up 3 goals, and all of them are just not very good goals. Like, we could have, they weren't like, oh my God, that was a fantastic goal. It was, no. It was, like you said, a calamitous one today. And yesterday, I think our keeper probably was slow coming off the line on both of them. But, it's early in the season. I'm not sure what the score is in the other games, but it'll be close. Cap's way better than they were last couple of seasons. Steve's done a good job there. And, I think every game is going to be a battle now.
Awesome, Mark. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the lads moving forward.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Mark Rosardo, the head coach of the Langara Falcons, gracious enough to join us following a 1-1 result between the men's Cap team and the men's Langara team. David Rodriguez Zagara, the lone scorer for the Falcons. As mentioned, that wraps us up for our doubleheader. The first result, a 2-0 result for the Capilano University women, taking care of business against Langara. And then the second result, a little bit of a heartbreaker, as you heard there from Mark Rosardo, a bit deflating. They controlled so much of the play. They had so much positive chances and momentum, but unfortunately the Langara men couldn't make it work for 3 points. A 1-1 final. Rodriguez Zagara, the lone scorer. We thank you so much once again for joining us here for the doubleheader, live from Willoughby Field, Lang from the Langley Event Center. Big thanks to Sean Shook, everybody from Langara, and everybody here on site for making it happen. It flew by. A fantastic day for soccer, fantastic weather, and obviously plenty of talent, collegiate level talent on display. We thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Corey Basso, and we'll catch up with you next time.